Have you ever been lucky enough to have a best friend? Not the kind of friend who you go shopping with or hang out at their house. The kind of friend where you share the stupidest mistakes of your life with. I got one of them. Just one. And I've actually known him my whole life. My older brother. We don't do as stupid things anymore as we used to. Nowadays we kind of just reminisce and talk about some of the stupid things we used to do. One day about 3 years ago or so, me and my brother were just kind of chit-chatting, reminiscing about a particular incident, a New Year's Eve celebration, where we misplaced one of his jackets. And unbeknownst to us, our mother was actually within earshot of what we were saying. So when she keyed in on a few key phrases of what we said, she rushed over to find out what we were talking about. And me and my brother, we kind of just looked at each other and went, you know, we're in our 20s now. She can't ground us. Let's go ahead and tell her. The story we told her was this story. So the story takes place back when I was about 9. My brother was like 12. When we were kids, we were outdoor kids. We loved going out into the woods, doing stupid stuff and everything, and finding what kind of stupid mischief we get into that day. So this particular weekend, we were actually going to our relative's house. They live in Alabama on in a trailer on a pretty good piece of land. But the thing we loved about going to hang out over there is that they had a bunch of woods behind their property, and we loved just going and exploring and doing dumb things. This particular weekend though, it was a few days after New Year's, and we had fireworks. We had an arsenal. Just a plethora, hundreds and tons of teeny baby bottle rockets. Yeah, the little tiny bottle rocket with the stick shoved up into it. I don't know about the ones y'all grew up with, but the ones we got were always a tiny little stick. The kinds that, I don't know why they were called bottle rockets, because as soon as you put it into the bottle, it sunk to the bottom, so you couldn't even light it anymore, so you had to light it, put it into the bottle, and hope it shot out. Multiple times we would light it, put it into the bottle, and then it would just explode. After about 6 times of, you know, it exploding and catching the yarn on fire and stomping it out, we realized, I should probably stop doing this. So then we would just stick them into the ground and then light them, and would still catch the yard on fire. But that got boring because it did the same thing every single time, just. So to try to make it more interesting, we would line them all up and try to light as many as we could, as I'm sure y'all did too. But that also got boring until my brother looked at me and told me he had a plan. He looked at me and he said, go inside, get red Solo cups from the kitchen, but make sure you don't get caught. We don't want them to figure out what we're doing. This was my moment. I make my way into the kitchen, all stealth like no one sees me. I am so into this. I'm looking in the kitchen trying to find the red Solo cups. Looking everywhere, can't find them. Until all of a sudden, bam! There they are. They're on top of the fridge. And being 9, I was not 6'4", so I couldn't reach them. So then, what popped in my mind? Mission Impossible. You know that moment where the guy's got the wires and he's falling down trying to get that hit the computer and everything and do all that fancy stuff with the wires? I knew that was my only option. Until I realized, darn, I forgot my super spy gear at home. Didn't have the wires or the harness to do the whole lowering down thing. So I do the next best thing. I called my relative over. Hey, can you help me get this red Solo cup? It's too high for me, I can't reach them. Just hand me like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. Thank you. Mission accomplished. Package secured. When I rendezvous with my brother outside, package in hand, I notice he's got a particular item at his feet. A 5-gallon container of gas used for the mower. I just looked at him and go, why? To which he explained to me the plan. The plan was that we were going to take one of the red Solo cups and then fill it to the top with gas. And then we were going to take it and put the little baby bottle rockets around the edges, all around it, with the fuses in the gas. We would then take a piece of paper, light the paper on fire like a torch, and then throw the torch into the gas, setting off all the fireworks in a fantastic and very American explosion of. It would be amazing. That's how it was supposed to go. This wouldn't be funny unless I told you how it actually went. So I just look at him and go, let's do it. He then looks at me and tells me to get the 5-gallon container, and while he holds the red Solo cup, and I will pour the gas into the cup. I said that a little too fast for y'all. Let me break those instructions down for you. Me, the 9-year-old, he wants me to take the 5-gallon container that was full and pour it into a little red Solo cup that he, the older brother of 12 years, would hold with his bare hands at night. Which I should also reiterate, we were in Alabama, not like the city part, but like the country part, way away from city lights. There obviously wasn't any like street lights out there because the streets didn't have names. And because I didn't have my super spy gear, I didn't have my night vision goggles or a flashlight. So we couldn't see anything, or at least I could not see anything. So we begin making the incendiary redneck cocktail with a little garnish of explosives. Oh my god, that's really what we're making. How did no one call the cops on us? So I begin to pour the gas while he holds the cup on the ground with no illumination. My brother then looks at me and tells me, hey, it's full. So I stopped pouring the gas and I moved it to a safe distance because I was very safety oriented. So he puts the garnish on this incendiary cocktail, and then we go to light the paper torch for our fireworks show. When all of a sudden, his jacket just whoosh, erupts into flame. Turns out, while I was blindly pouring the gas into the cup with no illumination, I accidentally poured a little bit of gas on his leather jacket, and since it was dark, I couldn't see that I did that, and since it was a thick leather jacket, he didn't feel it. So when we went to go to light the paper torch, we accidentally lit his jacket on fire. So when we went to light the intended recipient of all the fire, the paper torch, we accidentally lit him on fire. But my brother takes it very calmly. And he just looks at me and he exclaims, "Ah!" He starts flailing and falling all over the ground. To which I then, being a supportive little brother, just go, I'm saving you, stop moving! And I start stomping him out. He then rips the jacket off, throws it on the ground, and then we go to stomp it out. Amazingly, he didn't get burned. So tensions are dying down now, and we go to do the important thing, and that is to check to make sure no one saw the birth of the Burning Boy dance. So then we realized no one saw this whole thing go down. So now, we need to do the next important thing, get rid of the evidence. We don't want to get caught. First option we saw was to fix it. And we just look at it and go, that ain't gonna work. That thing is beyond recognition. That thing ain't getting fixed. Nobody's fixing it. Plan 2 is to throw it in the trash. But we don't want to do that because what if someone saw it in the trash can? Then we would get caught. So we're like, no, that's too lazy. That's too lazy of a plan. We do something smarter. After all, we're super spies. So we go with option 3. Bury it. Instead of going off into the woods behind the property like I mentioned earlier, we wanted to mark our spot of the birth of the Burning Boy dance. So we buried it right where we stood. So after telling our mom this whole story, she just books it into the kitchen, grabs her phone, and then calls our relatives going, did you know about this? And they had no clue. Nobody knew. On a side note, a few years after all that happened, they moved off that property and some store bought that location and put a store right where that place was. And I always kind of wondered, did anybody find that jacket while digging up the land? Like find a 12-year-old burnt up jacket in a shallow grave and just dig it up and just go, woo! That's the end of the story.